So with the Bledisloe Cup already in the bag for the All Blacks, they now move on to the second test match up against the Wallabies. And in this one, we will be trying our best to predict who it is that will be making their way onto the field in Dunedin for New Zealand. Could be quite a tricky one due to the amount of changes that are expected to be made. But it is myself, there's Rugbyitch. First game started close, ended not so close. How do you see this game going? I think you'll be similar to myself, a lot of changes in this lineup?
Yeah, I'd say definitely a lot of changes going into this one for sure. It's just one of those where, again, going off that, that recent performance against the Wallabies, it is really going to be, I would think that Ian Foster would maybe try to switch a few players around, give a few players a bit of rest. But at the same time, you also have to remember that, the All Blacks really only have this game, and then, the game in Twickenham against the Box is really like their two warm-up matches, to say the least, before the World Cup. So you never know. Maybe he just goes with a fully strength just lineup really to what we've seen in the Rugby Championship. But I've kind of gone the different direction, I'd say, in terms of my lineup, and I think you've probably made the same. Same adjustment. Maybe we'll see.
I believe a saying that represents Ian Foster quite well is expect the unexpected. If you think that he's going to make a lot of changes, perhaps he does go with that full strength side like you mentioned, but we will soon see. Front row for yourself. Who have you got at 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the areas I think within my at least lineup where I haven't made as many changes compared to the rest. I just think that if you're going to keep something the same, I think you do it within the front row, just because it's one of those where you want to make sure that, most of your players are in a good, position to obviously kind of carry that form, you could say, into the World Cup. And that's kind of the reason why I've kept Ethan de Groot as well as Tyrell Lomax as my props for this game. I just think you ought to give them as much game time as you can in those positions. But from our hooker, actually, this is actually where I've given Samisoni Takalaho actually a chance here. I just believe that this is a good game for him, actually. I just think that, with Cody Taylor obviously having a pretty impressive performance actually against the Wallabies, actually in that, in Melbourne. I just think that this is probably a good game to give him an opportunity. And I think he can do. I think he can do the job in this one. So that's the reason why I've gone with him there.
We are on the same page. Exact same front row as yourself. Ethan de Groot, number 1, Tyrell Lomax, number 3, and then in between them at number 2, Samisoni Taukei'aho. I think the bigger question here, if they do go with Taukei'aho in the starting side, is will they go with Cody Taylor or will they go with Dane Coles off the bench?
That's
if you're working on that theory of resting Cody Taylor, do you rest him all the way or do you give him just that little crack near the end of the contest? Looking at the locking duo now. For myself at number 4, I have gone with Josh Lord. Now, it might not be one that some people are expecting to see. I assume that they're going to give either him or Tupavai a bit of an opportunity. Rest Scott Barrett, I think, would be a smart thing to do here. Although it's also tricky because when a player has a blinder like he did last week, how do you say, just sit on the bench for us, Scott, or just watch the game this time rather than smashing both the halfbacks? But I think that Foster's a hard man to predict, and he'll either completely take Barrett out or he'll completely leave him in that starting lineup position. But number 5, I've actually gone with Sam Whitelock here because I believe that they'll look to put him at either 4 or 5 for this game to give him some game time and get him a little bit more back in form, seeing as he's just returned from his injury. So that's my locking duo. I am not at all confident with them.
Yeah.
You got anything similar to that, or you got completely different?
Yeah, so I do have one name that's similar to you. I have also gone with Sam Whitelock there at the number 5 position. But for the number 4, I actually have made the opposing change to you. Instead of Josh Lord, I've actually gone with Tipa Vala in that position. So similar to you, I've just been that, this is probably a good opportunity just to give Scott Barrett, a bit of a rest, I'd say. Again, we could be completely wrong on this because, Scott Barrett's probably been in the form of his life, really. And in my opinion, I think he was the Rugby Championship player of the competition. So it's probably a big a mission, to say the least, that we leave him out of our predicted lineups here. But no, I just think this is a good game. You've already kind of secured the Bledisloe. This is more, like I said beforehand, it's really more of a warm-up match in my opinion. So I think you've got to give more guys minutes here, and I think Tupavai definitely deserves that.
Righty, so now we move on to the loose forward trio. Last week they went with the strong 3 of Shannon Frizzell, Dalton Pavali, Artie Savia. It's always tricky to predict who they're going with in that loose forward trio. Have you made many changes?
Yes, I have, and this is big because Yeah, look, I've only kept one name that's similar in that, I guess what they did last week, and it's Dalton Papali'i. So I do have him at my number 7 jersey.
Okay.
So I have kind of, I don't know, just kept it in, I guess, towards that starting position. I think he played a pretty good game overall, actually. I mean, I saw that he got I think it was 23 tackles, or I think it was higher maybe than that. But yeah, I mean, that's what he's kind of known for. And he's a heck of a player. So he's definitely my 7 jersey. But this is probably where the big picks come in because, Shannon Brazil, another player who had a great tournament, but I've actually left him out. And I think this would be his debut. And I've actually given Samipani Finau actually his debut here in this game. So I don't think this is a good opportunity for him to get some minutes on the board. So yeah, I've given him his debut there at number 6. And for number 8, I've actually taken Artisvia out of the starting lineup and I've put in Luke Jacobson there. I just think this is a good game for him as well. Again, he's played a lot of minutes there at number 8, obviously for the Chiefs. So I think he'll be able to kind of transition that into the international stage, obviously against the Wallabies. So yeah, that's my loose sword trio there.
Okay, so looking quite different from what we saw in the first game of the Bledisloe. Myself, number 6, I have also gone with Samipani Finau. I feel like this is a great opportunity to give him a crack. Definitely with the fact that this is the last game the ABs will be playing before the squad for the World Cup is announced. So to not give him any chance before the squad being announced seems a little bit rough, definitely with the form that he had throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Number 7, I've stuck with Dalton Papali'i also. 23 tackles, pretty impressive. The tricky part with him, though, is the fact with Sam Cane's neck injury, how long is Cane going to be out for? And they will have to try and balance that workload for Papali'i because who is the next option at 7? Maybe Jacobson they could go with, or they've maybe got either Billy Harmon, could go Tom Christie. There's a few guys who are waiting. Duplessis Karefi, another man at 7 that they may consider if they do need it rather than Sam Cane. Then number 8, I went with Artie Savia. I stuck with him. I feel like he would feel disappointed not to get to play both games of the Bledisloe Cup just because they seem to be the matches he really likes to fire up in, and that physicality could be very handy. Him versus Rob Valentini, that's the reason I've put him, and I want to see it again. Anytime they go head-to-head is always must-see. But now looking through at the back line, number 9, it was very tricky because if this was played anywhere but Dunedin, I would have had someone else in the starting side. But because it's the last game in Dunedin for Aaron Smith, have to go with him there. He's going to get a massive round of applause when he makes his way off the field, when my replacement 9 does make his way out there. But Aaron Smith starting lineup, he's been brilliant throughout the Rugby Championship. I expect the same in the World Cup. And in this match, he's going to be partnering with Damian McKenzie at number 10. He hasn't had as many opportunities as Richie Mo'unga, so it seems like the right time to bring McKenzie back in, give him another crack in that 9-10 combo.
Yeah, no, similar to you. I've gone with the exact same duo there in terms of the 9-10 combo. I've gone with Aaron Smith, number 9, as well as Damian McKenzie, number 10. I mean, you just got to give Aaron Smith his kind of, I guess, his last game, obviously, in Dunedin. I mean, it's just unbelievable that, this is kind of his last year. It just feels weird. I mean, he's already played his last game, obviously, as a Hollander now, and this will be his last game, really, in Dunedin as an All Black. Just kind of incredible to think. But yeah, I mean, this will also be his last game actually in New Zealand as an All Black. So it's even more incredible for it to be in Dunedin. But no, he's also going to be my captain for the game because I just think he has to be the captain, obviously, with Sam Cane out, and I haven't selected Artisvia as well. So I just think it feels right for Aaron Smith to be captain. And yeah, like you said, Damian McKenzie, I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to get more minutes on the board as well. So that's really the reason why I've gone up him at number 10.
Okay, so now we look to the centres. We've gone with Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane every time so far throughout this Rugby Championship. They have not let the ABs down.
Nope.
And the selection-wise, every time that we've gone with it, the ABs have 2. This game, though, have you switched it around?
Yeah, I have. Okay. And this is a big call because really, this is probably it's weird because in the past you would normally say, like back, in 2021, even 2022, the ABs really were unsure of their center pairing, and they'd keep switching this pairing time and time again. But really, within 2023, they haven't changed it, and it's probably the first time in a while we're actually kind of seeing a starting duo, which is now being formed with the All Blacks, and it's working. It's working pretty well actually. So yeah, again, they were just unbelievable from this Rugby Championship. But I think for this game in particular, I am going to give a rest towards both of them. And this is a big call, but I've actually gone with Antonio Brown here at number 12. And I've actually gone with Brandon Enor and number 13. So those are the two choices I've made. Again, there's not really kind of like a blatant, I'd say, 12 option that they kind of selected, because most of the guys that are out there, which is like, Brennan Enor, Aston Brown, or even, I don't know, Das McLeod even, most of them really more play as a 13, I'd say, in their sides, or even 14 if needed. But yeah, there's not really a 12 option. I think Aston Brown probably has the most experience from that position, so that's the reason why I come with him ahead of others in there. But yeah, that's what's the combo.
Okay, so for myself, number 12, I have actually stuck with Geordie Barrett. And the reason I've stuck with him is for that long kick. But then saying that, Damien McKenzie normally covers that longer kick not too badly. But I've decided to keep Geordie Barrett there just to keep that little bit of structure and build up a bit of chemistry between him, Aaron Smith, and Damien McKenzie. And also having his brother Bowden maybe somewhere else in this backline as well. Number 13. For myself, I have gone with Braden Enor as that outside centre. I feel like that Geordie Barrett Enor combination in the midfield could be quite handy for the ABs, just in case anything happens to Rico Ioane, or maybe due to injuries he has to switch to that left wing. So because of that, I've gone with Barrett and Enor in the midfield. But now looking at the back three, number 11, I've gone with Lester Whainanoku. I believe he's just about going to be right for this game. I'm hoping so anyway. So that is why I've decided to take that risk and say that they will end up playing him at number 11. Number 14, I've stuck with Will Jordan. It's been phenomenal throughout the Rugby Championship, and I feel like he still needs a few more minutes under his belt before we get into the World Cup. And then at number 15, I've stuck with Bowden Barrett.
You've really gone with a strong kind of back three, I'd say there. But no, this is actually where we have a bit of a change, because I've selected 3 different names to you here. So kind of given a bit of I guess maybe blues bias in here, but I'm going with the likes of Kelvin Clark here at the number 11 jersey. I've switched Martelea to the 14 jersey, because that's normally where he plays away for the Blues. So I've gone with him there. So this will be the first, I think, one of the first games actually. He's played there once before. I think his debut actually in Scotland. He played at the 14, but this will be kind of near enough his second opportunity at that 14 jersey. And then at the number 15, I've actually gone with Sean Stevenson here. So it's a big call. I know it's probably the biggest call out of my whole bunch, really, because we haven't really seen anything from him. But I don't know. I feel like if you're going to include him as an injury cover to the guy selected at number 14, then you got to give him some minutes. And I think like this is probably the best opportunity to do it. And I feel like giving him the starting, I think he could do it easily. I mean, he plays 15 for the Chiefs any day of the week. So that's my back three, I think, for this All Blacks game.
And Stevenson, like you said, he's been unlucky with the selection. To be fair, he was unlucky with the original squad naming as well, with them leaving him out. Now the question is, will Foster give him his crack before the World Cup selection? But now looking through at the bench, 16, 17, and 18 front row replacements. Who have you got here?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this very simple. I've actually gone with Cody Taylor. I've actually stuck with Cody Taylor at the number 16 jersey. So just a bit unfortunate there for Dan Coles, but I've gone with Cody Taylor. I've gone with Obatuka Fassi, number 17 jersey. Again, just going to replace Ethan Groot as seen before. And I've gone with Tamati Williams, actually, at the number 18 jersey here. Just feel like this is a good opportunity to get some minutes on the board as well. So, yeah, that's my replacement front row there.
Right, we've got one similarity in those three. Number 16, I've gone with Dane Coles, giving him a bit of an opportunity, because I know that they'll go with those 3 hookers in France. And I believe that they've got their 3 at the moment. It's just trying to work out what kind of balance they want to have, who's playing in the starting lineup off the bench. Coles, he adds that little bit more feistiness later on in the contest. But if it's close, that penalty count can always be a little bit of a concern. Number 17, I've gone with Tamati Williams. So unlike yourself, I am playing him as a loosehead prop here in this game. And then number 18, I've stuck with Nepololala. But now we move to the rest of the replacement forwards. For myself, I've got 2 Chiefs here. Number 19, Tupavai. And then number 20, I have gone with Luke Jacobson. So 2 guys that you actually have in your starting lineup.
Exactly, I like that. Yeah, so this is where I had to make a big call here. So I have gone with the likes of Josh Lord at my number 19 jersey, just because I think he's a good replacement, obviously, for Tupavai. But this is where I'm about to make kind of the sacrifice in my team. And I just don't see this happening, but I've had to do it. I put Artavia at the 20 spots, and I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable with that. I feel like I would have rather seen Artavia start, maybe Luke Jacobson off the bench, but I've done it, so I'm gonna stick to my guns there. But yeah, I guess just in terms of like the last three, just in terms of this squad, I've actually gone with the likes of Cameron Roygaard at the number 21. So I've kind of gone with him as more of a backup option. I just think he's probably the best one suited for this because I really liked his actually introduction to the in that Wallabies game. Actually, he really brought a spark to them actually when he came onto the field. So hopefully he can do that again, of course. For number 22, I've actually gone with Bowden Barrett here. I just think he can cover a lot of positions, still the 15 if needed, or 10. And yeah, number 23, I've gone the likes of Dallas McLeod here. So a bit of cover in terms of that center position as well. So yeah, that's my overall 23 here for the second Bledisloe Cup, man.
Righty, so I've got Cam Roygaard as number 21
Okay.
also. Number 22, I did actually go with Dallas McLeod. So I'm giving him his debut. Seeing as I had Bowden Barrett in the starting lineup,
Yeah, I understand
I felt
that.
like maybe I've got enough fly half cover that I don't need
Who have you got then at
longer there as
23
well. Well, 23, I completely forgot about Anton Leonard-Brown, but I've got Caleb Clark as my number 23 for this game. But I expect that maybe there's a better chance that Whainā Nuku comes off the bench and Caleb Clark starts at 11 out of those two. But yeah, I did end up going with Caleb Clark as at number 23. But nonetheless, your All Black squad, it will be announced on Thursday in New Zealand. It's going to be an exciting game down in Dunedin. Plenty of action throughout the 80 minutes. And the last chance for these players before the World Cup squad is selected. But nonetheless, if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out Rugbyitch to my side. The link is in the description down below. Also, check out the Rugby Recap where we do our preview of the upcoming international fixtures. But any last words, mate, before we end off this video?
Excited for this game, of course. Definitely definitely check out the channel if you guys can. We're getting very close towards the 1K mark, so definitely help out the channel there and get closer towards that. But yeah, besides that, very excited for this, and yeah, just excited to see what the Wallabies can actually bring towards this game. Hopefully, it's a bit of a closer game, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I expect quite a few changes for the Wallabies in this game as well, seeing as it is also their last chance before playing France in the warm-up game. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We will see you all for the next one.